It'll be one to go this time by. Coming to the green, buddy, coming to the green. Let's go get him. Go, 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 go.
Get your motor running. Head out on the highway.
Question over here, go ahead.
Matt, Tom Jensen, SpeedTV.com. We've heard you say, as you did earlier today, that you try to win every race. If you can't win, you finish second. If you can't finish second, try to finish third, etc. Is there a point, though, in the middle of a race where you go, man, I got a 15th place car or a 10th place car, and this is all it's going to be today, and if I try to go further, I'm going to wreck it, and you just try to preserve what you have rather than push and risk going over the edge and having a terrible day?
Well, I don't know if it ever really goes through my mind like, oh man, we got a 15th place car or a 20th place car or what have you, but you know, you kind of learn or know when you've been racing long enough in the series, you know, how, you know, what's a pace that you can run without being over the edge or without wrecking the car, and get everything you can get out of it without burning the brakes off or burning the tires off or what have you. So I think you try to run that pace all the time, and I just try to constantly think about trying to get our car better, you know, no matter where we're running, and try to achieve the balance of the car and try to get it to feel like you want it to feel. I don't really think about, you know, where we're running. We just try to think about how we can try to improve it, hopefully.
Go ahead, Brian.
Hey, Matt. Brian Nelson, MRN Radio. Earlier today, Tony Stewart announced that Darian Grubb would be his new crew chief, and I guess maybe a year from now he would be in your shoes adjusting to a new crew chief after having had so much success with another. What's that like, and how much catching up do you have to do over the course of that first year?
Well, I think you'll be in a totally different situation than I was in. I mean, Chip, we moved from within the team, and he was our original engineer, actually, and we did our 5-race deal in 1999, so he's been there for, I guess this is his 10th season with us. He's been there the whole time. So for him and I to adjust to each other and stuff, it really hasn't been that big of an adjustment as far as, you know, communication and how to get the cars, you know, adjusted on and doing all that stuff. I think the adjustment's really been for him, and probably still is for him, you know, dealing with people and organizing a group of people, doing all that stuff. You know, Chip has always been the guy, you know, back in his office and, you know, at all the, you know, testing at the track or at the 7-post or what have you, you know, just concentrating on making the cars faster. That used to be his only job. You know, now you add a whole bunch more you know, jobs to what he does, and more of a load on what he does, and he already worked as long hours as he could possibly work. You know, I think that's a big adjustment to try to figure out how to balance both. You know, still focus on making the cars faster, but at the same time, you know, focus on the group and getting to the track and doing all the things that the crew chief has to do.
Other questions for Matt? We have one here.
Jay Pennell, HardcoreRaceFans.com. We have I mean, like you talked about earlier, still winless this year, but there's also a lot of other big names out there that have yet to win. Is this new car making it more difficult to win? Is it the competition? What do you think it is that has made it so much more difficult for, you know, these top drivers, including yourself, to find victory lane?
Well, it's definitely a lot different. You know, this car, you know, we can't work on the bodies. You know, what you have aerodynamically is basically what you have, and you know, back, you know, a few years ago, even when Mark was there, even Greg's cars for that matter, in the old car, you could really, you know, change the cars aerodynamically a lot for your own body or your own driving style and how you want to adjust it and what have you. So like Greg and I had totally opposite, you know, bodies on our car with our aero loads and all the stuff we had going on. So we can't do that anymore. So you kind of have to adjust to what that is and work on it from there. So that makes it a little bit difficult, because if it's not driving like you want, you can't really do it. You know, you can't do the things you used to do to try to fix that and make it run better in traffic and do that. So it is a big advantage to be in front, and some guys have been able to you know, figure their cars out better than others, and they're very, very sensitive to being in front and being in the clean air, and you know, they're also real sensitive to adjustments and things like that. So I think it's made it a little bit better too. You know, Carl and some of them guys need to qualify better, and they can stay up there all day. You know, I've watched some of these races, and I see the top 5 cars. You know, like Bristol, I think the top 5 or 6 cars basically ran the top 5 or 6 for 500 laps. You know, it's harder to come from the back than it used to be, and get up front and challenge them.
Any further questions from Matt? Got another one up here up front. We could.
I know you said you felt pretty decent about the car, but you know, you look at the speed chart, you're 40th. I mean, I get this question a lot from readers and fans asking about it. I mean, do practice speeds mean anything? I mean, can you get caught up in those at all, or do you Sorry. I mean, when you're 40th in practice, does that ever freak you out or anything like that? I mean,
well, yeah. I mean, the speeds mean something. I mean, our top speed there, I wasn't really totally worried about. Everybody was trying to do qualifying runs, and we actually had which I just found out about. We just had the water valve was stuck open on the radiator, dumping water all over the tires. So that's probably why we couldn't run better than that. Hopefully. So, but in long runs, we ran a set of tires for a long time. We try to get it feel a certain way. On old used tires. Last time we really struggled after 5 or 6 laps. We couldn't get any traction. We just spin the tires, and we couldn't get the middle turned. And so we really tried to work on a longer run and work on old tires and try to get the balance to where we wanted it to on old tires, which won't really show up on that sheet. Yeah, I mean, I don't know how many cars are here, but whenever there's more than 44 or 45, I think that bottom part, works probably a lot harder on qualifying, even though it's an impound race, so I'm sure you'll have guys that are doing some things. But yet at a short track, it's probably not a huge difference in setup.
Anything else from Matt? Okay, Matt, thank you for coming in, and
All right,
good
thanks.
luck tomorrow night. Continue that streak.